Okay, then let's move on to, go to your book to page 16. Page 16 in your book. Please open your book to page 16. I'll use my big. Okay, page 16. I gotta find it too, so. All right. Okay, have we found page 16 now? Okay. Okay, this is an example of a code that is actually, I'll go back to, where's my, okay, back to here, my UML. We're going to do, because I'm going to be trying to show UMLs for this guy. VP UMLs, so let's, okay, not UML, sorry, VP diagrams. So let's move down to VP diagrams. Okay, so we'll be looking at VP diagrams now. All right, so as you can see here, I am writing a code. Let's look at the purpose first of all. The problem statement. So if we are working through this, we would be doing, you have been hired to prepare a menu based on patient choices and diet restrictions for patients at an old age home. Residents may choose one portion of vegetables, one portion of meat for their evening meal. In addition, they may choose a double portion of a single item. And you have been given the following chart. The real menu contains more items for today's meal. Actually, not too many more in January. Okay, so based on the choices and the constraints, you want to write a program that allows the resident to choose their menu items and prints the total number of portions the person will receive, because basically the charge is based on portions. Okay, so first of all, if you are solving this, you will think and do an example solution. Take an example and work it through. If a person chose a vegetable as peas, they choose their meat as mutton, and they choose their double portion as vegetable. In that case, you can calculate how many pieces there are going to be, and you'll basically end up with how many portions you actually get, the portion size, okay, in pieces. Okay, so it would be, the peas is 12 portion size, the mutton is a 2 portion size, and a double portion there of the thing. Okay, so hang on, so that may I may not even have calculated it correctly myself. Oh well. Okay. Okay. You would then do a UML diagram, probably write a commented code, and then finally someone would have written a code. And let's go on to page 17 and look at the code that was written to do this problem. Okay. All right. So I'm going to work through it and with VP diagrams, and try to show how we would work through the code with VP diagrams and understand how it works. So VP diagrams are helpful when you want to understand somebody else's code. Someone else has written code, you don't understand what's going on, you want to try to understand what they're doing. You will then probably want to turn to VP diagrams. Okay, I think we lost our power again on our mic. Okay. All right, so let's start with, so we will, when we're doing a VP diagram, we first go down to where main. Main is where we will start doing the VP diagram. So main is on line 8 on page 17. Integer main void. Line 9, we declare a variable peas and a variable carrots. Okay, so let's quickly drag those guys in. Okay, oops, I don't want to pull her up. Okay, peas, and they're both type int. In this type int or type long. They're fixed point. So I've got my, first of all, I've got my peas, and and it's got a value of 12. I've got another variable carrots. Carrots, it's got a value of, and we're putting 6 inside that container. Next one, I have two more variables, beef and mutton. Okay, let's just create the 2 more. Beef and mutton. Generally, portions are based on how many calories there are in that material. Okay, so you understand how they're choosing the menu stuff. It's by calories. Okay, it's not by cost or something like that. Beef is spelled wrong. Great. Okay. Okay, so peas are quite high in calorie. Okay, so these are my. Let's try to see this. These are my 4 variables, holding how many points each of these guys are worth. And I have now a pointer veggie, a pointer meat, pointer double portion, and n items are also integers. So I'm going to make one more n items right here. Oops, Control Z. And n items. And right now, n items is set to be equal to 0. Okay, I think I'll put these guys right about my middle. Okay, now let's get some pointers. Okay, pointer Fred. Okay, 1 pointer. And let's get an, okay. Well, let's see, I don't want that guy. Okay, and another guy. And a double pointer. Okay, so let's call them veggie, meat, and finally double P. You cannot call it double because double is a reserved word, and C, it means it's a type, a floating point, so you can't call it that. Okay, veggie equals choose vegetable, choose vegetable the address of peas and carrots. Okay, I'm going to have to get these guys over here a bit. Okay, so they're out of the way a bit. I think I'll put and this stuff is all main, right? So let's show that it's all just main, okay? And give a nice little thing so we can say all this stuff is stuck in main. All right. Okay. And I'm going to now have a small function. Let's get my first function. His name is choose vegetable. Okay. Choose vegetable. Okay. I can make him nice. Okay, let's make him a little bit wide. Okay, fair enough. Don't know why he's getting so big. He shouldn't be that way. Maybe I'll ungroup him. Okay. I don't know why I choose is okay, never mind. C, B, hopefully this will make it shrink it. Okay, no, I can't shrink it. Oh well. Okay, all right, so choose vegetable. Choose vegetable has 2 pointers, peas and carrots, right? Choose vegetable has 2 pointers, peas and carrots. Okay, 1, 2. So I got peas and carrots. Okay, so you can see these peas and carrots have nothing to do with peas and carrots in the main program. They're separate. I'm going to ungroup this thing. Ungroup. What happened to it? Oh well. Okay, so I'm going to need to get you another word here. Thank you. Control C. Okay, this is choose veggies. Veg, okay. I just short him. Okay, so I got my function choose veg. Peas and carrots have been set to receive information, okay? So they're receiving the address of peas and the address of carrots, okay? So in that case, peas and carrots are over on this side. So let's, I think I'll make it more easy to use my VP diagram. Don't do that. Click over everything, okay? I'm gonna, no, not beef, don't move. Okay, peas. I'm gonna move you up. I'm going to move mutton down so they can point nicely to each other together. Okay, and my peas I'll put into here. Okay, so maybe it's easier to choose veggies on this side then, rather than choosing it on that side. Let's choose veggies over here, so they're beside peas and carrots. So it's much easier to do these things obviously on a computer than if you're trying to do it all by hand, drawing. Okay, this guy peas is going, oh bother. Okay, I'm gonna have, I'll switch the, I don't want to do it that way. Okay, let's snap to here. Carrots. You snap to here. Okay, let's try to move them now. I'll move you down there. I'll move you up to here. So they're nicey. Okay. No, don't do that either. Okay. So he's pointing there. Peas will be pointing to peas. Okay, good. All right. So now I've chosen these guys down. And I have now another thing, F. I'm declaring one more variable, F. Okay, F is a pointer, right? So I've got one more pointer coming in here. And he's called F. And he's not really pointing anywhere right now. So I'll just leave him there right now. So standard out. Choose either peas or carrots. Enter P for peas or C for carrots. F equals peas. Okay, let's assume we're going to get the choice. The person has to enter something in. Okay, we have a standard out to get that. And we're going to say, just for testing the program, we're going to assume that the person chose peas. Okay, so in this case, our pointer is now going to be, this pointer, F, is going to be made to equal to peas. So F is going to equal to peas. So F is going to point to the same place that peas is pointing to. All right, in this program. Okay, so now these guys are pointing to each other. And now, after this, we are going to return F. F is stored in veggie. Okay, so veggie is now going to be made to point to, oops, not there, this guy is going to point to peas. And this function is going to end and disappear. All right? The function's now gone, and veggie is left pointing at peas. The next choice is he wants to choose his meat. Okay? Meat is also going to get 2 pointers. Let's Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, choose meat is going to get 2 pointers. Prepares 2 pointers. Choose meat. Does it say meat? Meat is A, right? And we've got beef or mutton, and he also gets a 3rd pointer, F. Okay, and let's move him down a little bit. So this is what is prepared. So beef is going to receive from line 14 on the main program the address of beef in the main program, and it's going to receive the address of mutton on line 14 is going to be brought down to line 27. Okay, so let's get these guys down. Again, I've done them opposite directions. Okay, I'll just let them cross. So beef receives the address of beef, mutton receives the address of mutton, and now F is, we are given a message to choose on line 29, choose either beef or mutton. And basically the person chose beef, we assume. Okay, so the pointer now goes to F, so we store the address of beef into F. So they're both going to point to beef now. And we return F to this F pointer. This value is now returned to the main program back to line 14 and stored in location meat. So now meat also points to beef. Okay? And this is basically how our pointers end, and then choose meat disappears. I'm just going to disappear him over here, okay? Pretend he's disappeared, he's not there anymore. Okay. Finally, we now have choose double portion. Choose double. Choose double. So what does double do? What does double get? Double is getting, wow, he's going to return a double pointer. He's getting 2 point double. You see line 34? He's preparing 2 pointers, but they're going to be pointers to pointers. So he's preparing 2 pointers, V and M. Okay? So this guy's going to be V. This guy's going to be M. I'll call him V, M, and we can either show him this way, or if you like, some people show it this way. Two balls, so you know he can't point to an integer, he's got to point to another pointer. So some people diagram it this way. So let's, for the sake of making it clear this time that these are both double pointers, we'll put 2 dots. You don't have to put 2 dots. You can put 1 if you like. Okay? Generally, I like to put 1 because it's the same thing and the computer doesn't know the difference. But if you're looking at it, this will help tell you, hey, this cannot point to an integer. It's got to point to something else. Okay, so let's see. So choose double. What does it receive? It receives the address of veggie and the address of meat. So it's got to receive pointers. So the address of veggie and the address of meat. So let's move this thing over to the other side. Okay, because it's going to be a little bit complicated over there. I'm going to move you. Oh, not. Okay, bother. Let's move both you guys up. Okay, so double portion comes. He declares another pointer himself. So he's received the address of veggie. Okay, veggie. So he's now pointing there. This guy is now pointing to meat. He's received the address of meat. So you can see I travel M goes to meat, goes to beef. V goes to veggie, goes to peas. And I have another double pointer here, which is called, okay, D. We call it D, double portion, what we want the double portion of. So double portion is get the choice of double portion. You choose line 36, choose between vegetables or meat. On line 38, we say, okay, the person actually chose a double portion of vegetables today. So that means this pointer is now we're going to store V, where V is pointing to. We find V, what V has is here, so D is now going to be pointing to V. And V pointing to where V was pointing to, which is veggie, and veggie is pointing to peas. And my final step is to return D. So I'm going to return D, and D is going to be stored into double portion. So D, so double portion is, where's my double portion? So double portion, this little guy is now going to be pointing to the same place D is pointing to. He's going to be awkward. Let's see, how are we going to get him around without bumping into too many things? Okay, let's move this arrow over here. I'll move this guy to here. So this guy, double portion, is going to be pointing at veggies too. All right, and now I've returned D, so this is going to disappear. Delete, 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 delete. And now I'm back in main. Now I can calculate n items. N items calls a function calculate items. It gets the pointer to vegetable, the pointer to meat, and the pointer to double, and does the calculation. Okay, so let's create our new function. Let's just use and we'll call function calc items. Calc items. Okay, we'll break this apart. Ungroup. Let's shrink. Let's make this thing big. Okay, let's get you out of the way. Okay, there's my function. Let's get the function box into place. So the function box creates, let's look at the function definition, line 41. It has 3 integers. Okay, it's not taking, okay, it's taking integers. Okay, and the integers are vegetable and veg and meat and double. So, and veg and meat and double. Okay, that's what we'll get. Okay, all right, so, and vegetable, it's prepared these integers. Okay, now what's it going to receive? It's going to get a copy. Okay, first of all, let's go back to line 16 on the main program. It's going to be copied. We'll go to veggie. Veggie is pointing to peas. The content of peas is 12. Okay, so they get 12 peas. Yippee. What a wonderful number. Okay. The at what is meat pointing to? So back to line 16. Meat is pointing to beef. So the number of beefs is pointing to 1. So we now copy 1 into here. So 1 will go to here. And finally, the last thing is the address of star double P. So double P star 1, star 2, that's 12. 12 is now put into double. Okay, and we then do so it's received those things, put it in, and now line 42, it creates an integer, and then stores n vegetable and meat plus n double in it. So it creates a new variable. Oh, it's supposed to be C. Control C, Control V, good, okay. And so and items is created, and it then adds n vegetable plus n meat plus n double, which gives us 25. All right, so now that I have 25, it returns items right here. So items is now returned to the main program and stored in the variable n items, 25. And this program and this subroutine disappears. And in line 17, we now print to standard out total of 25 items. So if I go in my standard out, okay, so I'm going to just print total of 25 items will be printed out on the screen. Okay, and that will be the end of the program. Okay, so, and this is what main looks like when the program ends. So when we're answering, so I hope this helps you to understand how, when you're doing milestone 4, you'll be working through the VP diagram. The purpose of milestone 4 is to help you to understand how to analyze other people's code. Not your own code, but other people's code. Okay, so, right.